Okay guys, so in this video, I'm going to talk about how to pass selection. From our experience, having done 2 selection courses, the Commando selection course and the SAS selection course, then working on selection courses, and then having the privilege of training aspiring candidates for selection, we've seen many different types of people come through here, many different types of people with different perceptions of the preparations that they need to do to pass selection. Now, over the last 16 years especially, we've been working directly with candidates here at our gym. And over the last 5 to 6 years, we have been working with candidates virtually from all over Australia and from New Zealand as well. Now, throughout this whole process, we've been constantly refining everything we do in terms of how we prepare individuals for selection. Now, the thing is that we have so many different types of people, so many different types of men and women who come to us to train for selection, that first we have to manage their perception of what selection actually is. Because when you think about it, selection is an artificial situation which most of us would never ever encountered before in our life. That is in terms of the level of intensity and volume and hardship that you are subject to on selection. People never really comprehend until they actually do the course themselves. So there are people who have a level of perception of what selection is, which is more aligned with being successful in selection. So it's really important for us that we align their perception of how hard they have to work and how dedicated they need to be to their preparation to ensure that they increase their chance of success. We've also seen there's a number of benchmarks that need to be hit. These are not just the benchmarks which have been stated for the barrier tests or the SFET. These are metrics that we have observed over the last 16 years and taken note of to be able to use these as landmarks for where our clients need to be in terms of their preparation, especially when we look at a certain time frame and we look from where they are to where they need to be in that time frame and whether it's possible or not. So to help us manage their perception of how difficult the course is, we've set up a whole framework of programs, activities, and seminars that help prepare them for every aspect of selection. Now, this includes the Chaos Camp and the Carter Camp. This includes our Resilience 101 and our Selection 101 mentorship programs. It also includes our SOFPREP programs or whatever program that the specific candidate needs in the build-up to doing the SOFPREP programs. Along with that, we have our benchmark testing, which is the GAC standards test, the operator standards test, and test week. Now, these 3 test functions enable us to understand where they are on the continuum from being not prepared to being ready to go, ready to start selection and ready to finish the course. Wherever you are along that continuum, we have a solution for you. But for everyone along that continuum, we highly recommend you do our Carter Camp and our Chaos Camp. So if we look at how people learn anything, if we look at the best ways that human beings learn, it's always to be able to immerse yourself or to be able to experience the actual thing, the actual event, the actual activity, to get to understand the activity. So the best way to learn to do land navigation, for example, is to actually do some theory training with a map and a compass, but it's then to actually get on the terrain that you're going to be working in and start to navigate through that. So if you're able to touch, taste, smell, experience every single aspect of the real thing as much as possible whilst managing your risk, then you're able to be even better prepared than those who do not go through that experience and just study the theory. So our whole program at the Mill Gym is a program that takes you from someone who has no experience, is basically a civilian, never joined the army, and caters for every single iteration from then all the way through to the person who's starting selection on day 1. Now, we work with civilians who are joining the reserves or joining the army, and with military people who are actually in the military from all corps to prepare them for selection. The critical element in this for all those candidates is to give them an understanding of what selection is like, what service in these units is like, and what is the expectation of them when they do this course and also when they serve in those units. Because of our experience in those units, we're very well placed to do that for them. And the way we do that is we design a continuum of activities, which includes programs, workshops, seminars, camps, and mentorship programs that give them the best possible understanding of what it is they're about to undertake. The best way for us as human beings is to actually do the thing, do the experience, to be able to learn as much as we can about ourselves and about how we'll perform under those conditions. So all we've done with our program is to design experiences that enable you to immerse yourself in those situations, to get an understanding of actually what it's like, how hectic and how adverse it is, and also give you an understanding of how you perform in those conditions. As we mentor you through that program, We'll give you the tools that you need to be able to employ to, one, get through that situation safely, two, make the most of that situation, and three, contribute as much as possible in that situation when everyone else is floundering because their threshold tolerance, that level of adversity, is not where yours is. Now, the best way for us to do that is to simulate selection. So as an example, we have the chaos camp. The chaos camp enables us to put you in situations where you literally have to navigate and you have to learn to navigate. So we give you the skills through the theory training, and then we actually put you on the ground and get you out there navigating. The chaos camp is designed to help you with your navigation, and we put you in one of the most difficult terrains to navigate in because there's very few landmarks for you to use. So you really rely on your map, your compass, and your bearings. If you can navigate in that sort of terrain, you can navigate anywhere. The next most important camp that we suggest you do is obviously the Carter camp. The Carter camp was specifically designed for those candidates who are serious about doing selection. So we make this camp as hard as we can, but we temper it to the individual. So you can be super fit and you can be unfit and still do this camp because we have people flying in from all over the place to do the camp that we have not met before. So we don't know where the fitness level is. So we have mechanisms within that process, within the camp process, to be able to make sure that it is just as challenging for the fittest person in the camp as it is for the least fit person in the camp. The biggest benefit you can get out of this camp is to learn the mental tools and start to refine the mental tools and become more aware of how to use those mental tools to actually get you through that period of hardship. We try to put as much as we can into that 36 hours of the Carter camp to ensure that you get the most out of that. And then the lessons you take from that process, because we give you feedback based on your aspirations to do selection at the end of the camp. We take the lessons from that camp, what we've learned about you and what you've learned about yourself, to start to refine those tools and solidify those tools so that you are more prepared for selection. Your perception of hardship, your perception of the skills and the techniques that you have to persevere through something as difficult as that, you don't really learn it as much as if you immerse yourself in chaos and adversity and have to employ those tools and see the efficacy of those tools in action. We have to impose as much adversity as we possibly can on you and do it in such a compressed time frame that you're able to get the maximum amount of learnings out of that time frame as possible. Then we capitalize on those learnings through our mentorship program to be able to look at the areas where you're weak and start to develop those areas to make them strong points, and to be able to take those strong points, those areas that you're actually strong at, and to be able to refine them and capitalize on those as well to make them even stronger. This whole process just builds you up to be better prepared for selection. There's no other organization in the world that offers this level of training and this amount of experience and offers such a complete package that we are so confident after 16 years of doing this, that we know that this is the best program for anyone, whether you're in the military or not at this stage, to prepare you for doing selection. Human beings learn best if they are able to experience the actual activity or experience the challenge firsthand. Whilst we cannot simulate selection because it's 3 weeks of hard grind, we can certainly simulate aspects of selection to be able to immerse you in them to get you to understand what it's like and how you perform in those situations. The Chaos Camp and the Carter Camp is designed specifically for that, as is the Operator Standards Test, as is the test week. The test week and the Carter Camp are the most difficult things you'll do in our program in the lead up to selection. But they are so important because they give you a really good understanding of how you'll perform in those conditions. This exponentially increases your probability of success on selection. Now, if I was to say how to pass selection, we have so far had a 100% success rate on candidates who have done every single part of our Selection 101 program. That includes the mentoring program, SOFPREP program, our seminars, and doing our camps. In some cases, we've had candidates do the camps multiple times. Along with that, we must ensure that you're passing our benchmarks, which includes our GAC standards test, the operator standards test, and the test week. The best preparation you can possibly do is accumulation of all those activities, which is designed specifically for you. And we bring all those together on the test week to give you a real good understanding of how you'll be able to manage that level of volume and that level of intensity over a 1 week period, and see how you're able to navigate those conditions, because it will give you a really good understanding of how you perform actually on selection. If you want more information on the Selection 101 program or our SOFPREP programs, send us an email at info@themillgym.com or visit our website, themillgym.com.